Zone, back off. Kitten. See the things that I have to deal with?
Are you realizing you don't need to store you back under bed? Oh, she caught that one in midair.
Nice.
Yeah, but she eats way too many treats.
Yes. And she goes back to her natural home. Do you see this here? This little mesh thing? This is my makeshift screen. It is held on by Velcro. And it also isn't the correct size, so actually I had to cut part of it and then add a little valance at the top, so to speak. It's because my window is open. I hire house cleaners, and she needed to bleach something today. So I was trying to air out upstairs because it was really intense. But I have to have this thing here to stop creatures like that from jumping through the window. Now, it turns out that Issun Zone don't particularly care to do so on the second floor, but they will on the first floor. And for some really dumb reason, Europeans don't use screens like they do in the US. Screens are primarily for bug protection, which is also something that this can do. And my screen downstairs, I have a similar mesh thing downstairs, has a huge amount of cobwebs and spiders and bugs and so on the other side of it. Good kitten internet. It is super late. I don't have much time because I need to be up early tomorrow for a doctor's appointment. So I'm gonna try to make this quick. Also, I still haven't edited the previous day's video. It is vlog every day in April, not edit every day in April. It'll be fine. Just, my brain does not want to function. So, what to talk about? Well, first let me put this on a tripod so I'm not holding things constantly. You're getting a little bit different of an angle of my bedroom this time because I can't. Just I can't. It's... I think trying to vlog every day has been taking away all of my available time. I still have clean laundry, actually, that is, to put away. It's like 1 a.m. or something like that. I need to get up in 6.5 hours. So this is gonna go well. Let's see. What to talk about? Well, my doctor's appointment tomorrow is my psychologist appointment. And I brought this up a little bit during my day in the life video that I did a week ago. But I have been seeing a psychologist. I was initially... let me backtrack. So, while I was living in the United States for the previous approximately 10 years before I left, with a year-long gap as an exception, I had been seeing a therapist. That's a psychiatrist, for reference. For the most part, it was one therapist. We actually worked really well together. And cognitive behavioral therapy was what we were practicing in order to try and give me coping techniques for my constant depression, anxiety, and all of those other fun things. And she helped me a lot. But when I moved to Norway and had gone to my primary care physician and said, hey, look, I have severe depression, I was prescribed access to a therapist, what do I need to do to do the equivalent here? what's the nice way of saying this? She signed it after an interview doing the standard questions for diagnostics in the DSM. She wrote up a letter and flat out stated, you ain't gonna get psychotherapy or anything like that, but I'm gonna write it anyway because you asked me to. Needless to say, I was rejected, and she flat out said, the only way I would have been accepted if it was actively suicidal. I am not suicidal. That's what I'm trying to prevent, believe it or not. Preventative healthcare is better than active needing to intervene healthcare. Interventionist healthcare. There we go. So, I was unable to get therapy while I was living in Norway. Now, it was possible for me to get therapy from the local city/municipality. Municipality was supposed to be able to provide healthcare coverage for short-term needs. The problem is that my need is a long-term need. So, okay. Move to Denmark. Try to figure out what the hell the process is, because I have a primary care physician, a public primary care physician, and my insurance pays for private care. Specifically, my insurance is paying for my psychological help. So try to jump through the hoops. Eventually just flat out tell my doctor, hey, look, I'm trying to get access to a therapist. I have insurance that's supposed to cover it. They just want to make sure that you request it. Can we go through this process again? And her answer was, how about you talk to somebody else on my team? Because you and I have been talking quite a bit. I'm pretty certain I can diagnose you off the top of my head. Let's get somebody who doesn't know you very well to run through the steps. Did that. Got the diagnosis of moderate depression, which is actually an improvement. I was classified as major depression, and with a critical need, with multiple severe forms of anxiety. And yeah, got that classification, went back to the insurance, had to call them, went through like, hey, look, I don't know what's going on. I've uploaded the referral. Tell me what to do. And the insurance hemmed and hawed and went, well, okay, we need to have you go see a psychologist. There's a psychologist inside, there's a psychologist we work with in your city. We're going to send you to them. They have both psychologists and psychiatrists at the same clinic. We would prefer to just pay for drugs, but we want you to go through them to figure out what would be best for them. And keep in mind, I do not take any form of antidepressant. I've had a very bad reaction to them in the past. And I'm very reluctant to try it again, given how bad that reaction was. So, sat down at the therapist. That was at the location, the co-working facility that I had shown in the day in my life. Sat down with the therapist. Discussed everything that I've discussed many times before. I inevitably forget something each time. Some horror, some past trauma, whatever. And basically, it boils down to, and after that meeting, which was an hour and 45 minutes long of them grilling me, it's kind of intense. What are you doing, son? He's crawling underneath the bed. It's crazy cat hour if you can't tell. So go through that, and he basically and luckily there wasn't a huge wait. That is the one thing that private insurance tends to reduce quite a bit of, is wait times here. And for reference, the wait times for the public psychological help were 3 years and 5 years, respectively, for a severe need. My need would be deprioritized. Zone, what are you doing, kitten? I see those wild eyes. If you donated your brain cells to other orange cats in need again, but you need those brain cells. I know you can't see them very easy. And he just jumped off. Otherwise, I would have just pivoted the camera. Anyway, the therapist had said, okay, I'm going to discuss this. We have a meeting I can't remember what day of the week it was now, but we have a meeting every week with the psychologists and psychiatrists and discuss all of the patients, and we'll decide what would be best. Okay. Week goes by, hear nothing. Second week goes by, and I hear something, sort of. Namely, I get a notification that I've had an appointment scheduled for me. I did not book an appointment whatsoever. What are you doing, cat? I didn't book the appointment myself. I was not consulted about the timing. I was not consulted about when, anything. It was just, hey, look, here's your appointment. And then I got another and another. I was booked 3 separate appointments at the same clinic, given no information past that. A few days go by, and then I receive a phone call from my insurance company asking me, okay, we see that you have booked 3 appointments with a psychologist. And I just go, I have? And then I explained to the person on the phone, like, I was not consulted on this. I just had a discussion with them, and she was like, okay, I don't know why they didn't tell you, or, ask what times would it be available for you, but here is their results. Basically, they want you to talk with a psychologist. They are not recommending medication for you. They think just standard, ordinary talk therapy, which is what I was looking for. So I speak with a psychologist for about 50 minutes once a week. I've been approved for 8 therapy meetings. I don't know what happens past the 8th. This week will be week number 3 with my psychologist. So I have 5 more appointments, I believe. And we've scheduled out a bunch, because I can actually schedule them now that I'm talking to somebody. But unfortunately right now, they are fairly early in the morning, which is a problem because, as I've mentioned in previous vlogs, while I've been living in Europe, I have bumped my entire day by 2 hours. So instead of getting up at 7-ish, I get up at 9-ish. Instead of going to work at 8-ish, I go to work at 10-ish. Instead of getting off work at 4 to 5-ish, I get off of work at 6 to 7-ish. I go to bed later. So first thing in the morning doesn't work very well for me. And on top of it, the location that I was going to, that co-working space, is about an hour away from where I live. And when I move to my new house, it's going to be even further away. So I am using up a huge amount of my day going to these appointments, and I am taking them as sick leave because it's a medical appointment for a medical reason. I'm going to be away from work as a result of this. I have no way of avoiding it. So I'm taking, technically I am taking, 0.35 sick days? I have an unlimited number of sick days. Oh, technically, it's not unlimited. I am not to go over 270 sick days a year. I only work 200 days a year, so that's a little difficult for me to do. Actually, it's less than 200 days because of vacation and so on. So yeah, we've been going through cognitive-based therapies, both cognitive behavioral therapy and just general cognitive therapy, because that's actually the psychologist's specialty. And, well, I've only had 2 appointments so far, so it's a little early to tell how well it's working. Long story short, mental health is just as important as physical health, and it's stigmatized throughout the world, especially by both insurance companies and governments for some dumbass reason. But it's really important. And I was denied the ability to do this in Norway. This is actually the reason why I decided to allow my work to move me to Denmark, was because I figured with how bad the Norwegian healthcare system was when it comes to mental health, I mean, seriously, it's worse than the US. Do you have any idea how bad you have to be worse than the US? Denmark was bound to be better, and it is. Namely, I do have the option of actually having mental health care, even if it is private insurance, because there's a total of 2 therapists in my city. The municipality is about 1 million people. There are 2 therapists. Okay, that's about all I'm going to record today. Hope this was entertaining. It wasn't really entertaining. Hopefully this was informative. And I'll talk to you next time, Internet. Hopefully you're having good kittens. My kitten finally relaxed a bit. That is sheepskin, by the way. This is actual fur. We had bought it for Shamara. Shamara didn't really use it too much, but Zone kept sneaking into Creator's room for it. So we've moved it to my bed, and Zone has been there pretty much ever since. Okay. Bye, Internet.